would you share with us for how long has Fast Insurance been using Pathway?
We've been using Pathway since I purchased Fast Insurance about 5.5 years ago. I had used it previously at other brokers. I had implemented it at other offices I'd been at, and I knew when we took over Fast that it was one of the first things that I did when I took over is implement Pathway into our workflows. But when I bought Fast, we first used it for policy delivery. Companies instantly started to go paperless, which just means they offload the paper to the brokerage instead of themselves. So it became a major problem as far as how are we going to get our clients their documents in a timely fashion, and how are we going to not incur all the paper costs that the company previously carried. So that's how we started. It was merely a document delivery tool. But as the years have gone on, we've changed it. We use it for new or for renewal business, renewal retention, for collecting information on the policyholders' home before the renewal is issued. So about 75 days before the renewal date, we have a pre-renewal questionnaire that goes out. We collect all the relevant information, start getting the client thinking about, did I do any updates in the last year? Is there any discounts I'm missing out on? So we're not doing it at the time of the renewal date. We're doing it, a couple months before. We've also recently implemented the kiosk, the client portal, as a way to not just have emails go out with the client's documents, but a place to store it and a place for the clients to access it at any time. And it was one of those features that I thought clients aren't going to use this because they don't care. They only care about their policy at the time that they have to pay for it. They don't care about it after that. But surprisingly, the uptake has been very good. And it's very simple to use. They don't have to remember passwords. They don't have to remember anything. They just need to know their email address that is linked to their SIG account, and it works from there. So it's very simple and very, very useful. No, like the support is amazing. I mean, they use Pathway uses Slack to communicate. If you're familiar with it, you'll understand why that's great. But it's basically they have a tool that you can, in theory, instant message people from the Pathway team when you have something goes wrong, and it's not just sending an email and hoping to hear back. In fact, I don't even know if I've ever sent an email to Pathway for support. It's always just been through Slack. So the other thing that makes it really good from the support side is the company seems very nimble or very able to make changes on the fly. And whether it's just for me or for their whole product. So if I have an idea and the system can't do it currently, and they see a benefit of it for all of their brokers, they're able to make that change. So it morphs into it's more of a relationship than like Pathway and Fast Insurance. It's we work together because what benefits me benefits other brokers, which benefits Pathway. SIG sees a benefit of it. They don't try and be everything to everybody, and they recognize that there's third parties that do stuff that are better than they can do, so they integrate with them. So we have, policy document comes in, it triggers Pathway to send the policy documents to the customer. We're able to pull bits of information from the policy document as well, coverage limits, all sorts of things. So it really makes it a seamless experience that you can kind of just turn on and let it run because the two systems talk so well together that you can trust that it's working properly. But the nice thing is when you create a new workflow, Pathway will suggest, um, don't just put it on autopilot to start off with. Let's have it manually approve it, make sure that it's pulling the right information. And then once you can prove that it's been working for a week or two, then you put it on autopilot. So there's that fail safe before you start making mistakes. Difference is that when you get to the renewal, when you get to client X to work on their renewal, you have everything in front of you already. You've already sent out the pre-renewal, you've already got it back from the client, and really the completed rate on those are quite high, surprisingly. I also thought we'd be sending these out and nobody would fill them out, but because it's coming from us, they feel like they have to fill it out, so they do. Um, so it saves some communication with clients because we're asking for it in a non-pressured way, and they have the time to complete it on their own time. And when we're sitting down to work on the renewal, we basically are just, fine tuning things and then sending it out. But the client has already received their documents, so we don't have to worry about that, whether it's by mail or digitally. They've received it from Pathway, and we've received all the update information. So we could be saving, hours a week per staff person, just because we're not worrying about the little bits and sending out the policy documents, collecting information. We have everything. Here you go. We already know this is the best for you, because we were proactive in collecting the information before we even needed it. I forgot to mention that, like the pre-renewal questionnaires are automatically downloaded into SIG. They're in our activities. We can access them at any time. And when you have the client say, "Well, I didn't know I was supposed to provide that information," or you can go back to them and say, "Well, look, we sent this to you 3 years in a row, and 3 years in a row you said this." Um, it's documented. Not that we ever want to go that route, but it's there whether we need to use it, for us or against us or whatever. It's all documented, and you can even see that clients have opened the email or they haven't opened the email, or some clients, it's very interesting. You go and they open the email 50 times and you're like, what are you doing? uh, but that's the other neat thing, is that you can go through the history within Pathway and see like what happens when an email goes out. Do people open them? What do they click on? If you send out a newsletter with multiple links to click on, it'll show you what they clicked on, what the click-through rate was. So it's all sorts of information that you can take and then get better at, using the Pathway tool for yourself. But one of the best things about Pathway is collecting reviews. Um, we have, after every new business, a few days after we sell a policy, we send out an email, rate us from 1 to 10. And then after every renewal that we process, a few days later, they get the same email, rate us from 1 to 10. And when I bought Fast 5.5 years ago, I think we had 2 Google reviews, and I believe we're around 215, 216 now, and a 4.9 rating. So, and it's a long process to build the reviews, because not a lot of people don't have Google accounts, don't want to leave a review, but we're starting to see the payoff on it. We get a lot of new business coming in, and it's, how did you find us? Well, we Googled you, or we Googled for insurance, and we saw you had 200 something reviews and a 4.9 rating. We went to you. So we've directly seen the impact of it. And I don't think we would have collected, even half as many if we didn't have the Pathway review workflow running for us. So that alone, if you just paid for the service just to collect reviews, that alone could be well worth it in the long run. But it's great feedback. It's simple, and it really gives you an idea as to what people think of your people and your business as a whole.
Ryan, thank you so much for sharing all of this with us. Final thoughts. So moving forward, and when you're thinking about future success, is Pathway a part of it?
Of course, I wouldn't have any success if it wasn't for Pathway. They didn't pay me to say that either. I'm always planning on using the product more and more and more. I know from when I started using it, it's come a long way, and it's even more intricate. And there's way more customization that you can dabble in, which I haven't done quite yet. You can set all sorts of rules where you send this email out. If they respond, they get this. If they don't respond, do this. So that's probably where I'm going to go in the future and start to work with that a little bit more.